Good morning, walkers. So I thought today I would show you how to get to pretty much one of the only Levadas that you can walk to. And it's accessible from either from the center of Funchal or very easily from here in the Lido. So I thought we would take you up there today, see how easy it is to get to. So let's see where we are first of all. We're just underneath the Four Views Monumental Hotel. And just across the way there, we can see the Taxico restaurant and there's a little side road that goes down to the actual Lidos themselves. Across the way on the right hand side, there's a bus stop that will take you into Funchal. Number one, number two, I think a number 4 might stop there as well. If you follow this road straight ahead, this is Estrada Monumental, and this will take you straight into the heart of Funchal. And if you were to turn around behind us, this is where you'd find most of the restaurants. But to get up to Levada, it's very simple. We're just going to turn up here. So Levadas are water channels. There's over 2,100 kilometers worth. And these water channels were originally dug, it's probably starting around about the 15th century. And really the primary reason was just to bring water around the island. So here as we get up to the corner, Japanese sushi restaurant. There's a little vegetarian restaurant just behind us. And then here, just past this gate here, a sign that says Levada. So the Levadas then. It's originally dug for irrigation, water different communities, for washing, and also for hydroelectric power. So right now, they generate a small portion of the island's electricity. The first time we found this Levada, which was quite a long time ago, we were staying in the old town, and so you can walk up towards the football ground, and you can find the start of Levada up near there. Now, from here, if we were to take the right turn, it would take us towards the football ground, but wouldn't go very far really. So the way we're going is this way. And as you can see here, well, hopefully you can, water's pretty clean. It's a nice concrete path to walk along. Obrigado. Okay. So this particular Levada extends for, I think it's about 16.6 kilometers, starting, as I say, just behind us really. And it takes us through the San Martino area. And it also takes us into the Camara de Lobos district. So it doesn't take us into Camara de Lobos, the bay. You may have seen from previous videos, but you can walk down to it. You can see all the cranes in the distance, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's plenty of building work going on. There's the 5th one down there, the 6th one behind me. So there's new luxury apartments going up, hotels are getting renovated. Madeira and Funchal in particular, very popular right now. Again, if you've been watching our videos, you can really see why. The climate is excellent. People are very friendly. It's a beautiful island. There's plenty to do here. But generally, if you read any of the guidebooks here, people often say that the first few kilometers of this walk, not always the prettiest, because it is urban. We're going through people's back gardens. At times we're walking above roads. And yet, how nice is it to walk along here? Green hill to the right. Blue water down to the left. You've got people's allotments along here, as we'll see in a moment. A few banana trees here. Ginger cat. They grow lots of cats here. It's also just really interesting to walk behind buildings and just get an insight just to how people are living. One thing you'll notice too, you'll be noticing here there's a few little plastic pots left around. So these are for the cats. So cats tend to be, they appear to be anyway, communal. Oh, there's a couple down there. One, is he trying to eat some corrugated iron? No, he's just having a little rub. Hello. So cats appear to be quite communal here. And people leave out dried food, they leave out water. And sometimes you'll see, as they do sometimes in Spanish countries or in the Canaries, you'll find little cat houses. So these are little shelters that volunteers put up with little beds, bowls of food, safe places. So they seem very well cared for here. So probably about 25 minutes into the walk, we'll come across a really nice little tea house, Casa del Avada. Nice place to stop. And there's a main road just behind which you would cross, and then I would say it's from there that it really begins to open out and we start to see more greenery. The houses die away. We feel a little higher. That's where we have all the banana plantations. The ground that we're walking on tends to be less concrete. There's a point at which, generally, so on a Levada, you'll often find that you are high up most of the time, but the feeling of height is disguised because generally to the side you've got lots of trees or you've got some buildings. So it sort of hides the sense, the scale of how high up you are. But of course, you could fall off at any point and you'd be in a real problem. But here, further out on this walk, there comes a point when there is nothing to your left. There are even points where the wall to the side of you tends to arc over, so you're forced to even lean out a little bit, out over the drop. So we haven't been this way ourselves for some time. I believe there's some more railings and safety guidelines installed. So over the past year or two, these buildings just to the left, we've been watching them take shape. Wondering just how much it would cost to live here. So property prices in the Funchal area, quite different from the rest of the island. Funchal being really the big major town. So you could be looking at anywhere between 150 and 300,000, say, for maybe a 2-bedroom apartment. Have a little wander past estate agents' windows, you'll see plenty of places here for more than $1 million. It's in euros. If you come here, you might find it interesting as you go around the island. You're surprised at how many properties, generally rural ones, are simply sitting empty. And some of them look so perfect, you wonder why no one's living in them. I think this is something that one of the guides told us has been recently remedied, but it was down to the fact that people didn't always write a clear will. And so when a parent's passed away, there'd be a lot of uncertainty about who gets the house or how it should be divided. And so houses would stay empty for quite some time. I believe there's been something recently that puts a limit on that. I could be wrong. If you know the answer, you can put it in the comments, but I think it's around 10 years or something, and then after that point, the property reverts to the government. So right in front of us, you can see a very tall cliff, big headland. So that's just on the other side of Camara de Lobos. And you're not going to be able to see clearly, but right at the top there is a lookout, Cabo Girao I think it's called, and it's free to visit. You can get there by bus or car, and it's a glass platform that extends just out over the cliff, and it's quite fun to stand on it and look all the way down. There's a little cafe there, a little souvenir shop. It makes a nice 10 or 15 minute stop. So if you've got a car and you're driving around this part of the island, it's good to stop there. So as you drive around, you'll see plenty of terraces, families growing vegetables, but that is on the decline. As the younger generations want to move away from farming, we'll move it into tourism. Hello. Then you're finding that there's less people to work in the fields. And so more imports now coming in. As you go around, you'll see more of the farms no longer being used, turning back to just grass, back to natural foliage. So in a little while, just a few moments, we're coming up to a little tea house, Casa del Avada. And it's here where we're going to stop for a lovely little schneza before we carry on the walk out through the banana plantations. There's Casa del Avada. Again, it's a nice place to stop. Sign for Levada just over up on the left. So you're not going to get lost on this walk. What is fun is sometimes checking out how, if you want to take a turn off, so you wander down to Praia Formosa, or maybe, as we might be doing later, down to Camara de Lobos. Okay. We've been using the app All Trails. It's been pretty good. It's the nice thing it has over Google Maps is that it's got some of the little alleyways, the little cut-throughs between houses, etc., that can get you from Levada down to a road or vice versa. And you missed all these on Google Maps. So we stopped for a coffee back there. So that's always interesting. Coffee prices really changes dramatically wherever you go. Had one at a Poncha bar, Campanario, a little while ago. Lovely. That was, I think it was under 80 cents. On the other hand, last night we decided to have a little pause on the way home. We stopped at the Ritz, and that was, I think, maybe $3.15, maybe a little bit more. I'm going off by memory. So it varies hugely. Back at the Casa del Avada, just back there, we're paying $1.50 for a schnitzer. Banana plantations. Bananas are very fussy about temperature, humidity, etc. And so there's certain heights here at which they won't grow. So as you're driving around, you'll see bananas on the lower slopes. As you go higher, you're going to find they disappear. And there's the thing with the bananas that they grow here. Now, if I'm right, they've had a problem exporting them to Europe in the past. Something about not being the right size, the right shape. Who knows? What was lovely was last time we arrived here, queuing up to have a PCR test, and we were given a bottle of water and a banana. It's almost like an emblem from the country in a way. A little pause and let's look out down across the fields. So you probably recognise sugar cane growing here. You'll sometimes see in recipes and bottles here talking about cane honey. So this, as far as I understand it, I'm guessing it's not honey as in from bees. I think that is produced from the sugar cane, and I think that's a constituent of poncha, which I'm sure if you've come here you know all about. So we've lost sight of the Levada for a minute, but we're going to keep following this and we'll pick it up soon. I just can't help but stop every now and again and just have a look over there. As if on cue, the church bells ring. You can see to the right how crumbly the rock is. And you can see in front, as if on cue, some fallen rocks. Don't really want to be on here when it's lashing down with rain. It's storming. One, because it'd just be unpleasant, but two, don't want to be underneath a rock when it comes down. We're looking out over the Lido area. Oh dear. Giving you plenty of time to be able to just hear all the ambient noises, to soak up all the sights, all the sounds, so you can just drop into the feeling maybe that for a few moments you're here. Just walking. A few little lizards darting around. It was a little bit like trying to not tread on a cat's tail. You ever have that when you're sitting at home and the doorbell rings or the phone rings, you have to get up and you go towards the door, you go towards the phone, cat gets a bit confused and almost invariably runs under your feet, and there's that moment when like, oh, you try not to tread on them, kick them. At least, I hope you try not to. Same thing here. They seem to wait for the very last minute before they move. So the best thing is to trust their judgment. Just keep walking normally. Let them figure it out. It's the same actually, isn't it, with crossing the street in some countries. Some countries we've been in, there's no traffic lights. Obrigado. The cars don't stop unless you just walk across. And even then there's no waiting. Don't wait until someone looks like they're going to cross or they're going to stop, because they're not going to until you step out. And then when you step out, you just have to keep walking straight. You have to trust that they're watching where you're going and they're going to stop. Same thing with our little friends, the lizards. Oh, let's pause again. Very easy to be wandering on with our eyes on the Levada, but the real joy is what's to the left and the right. Sometimes a little preoccupied with, one, not treading on the wildlife, two, not falling in the water, which would be rather funny. Obviously not falling off the actual Levada itself. It's kind of a rule for life, isn't it? To now and again, you've just got to pause what you're doing and get your head up, look around, see where you are. Are you even where you wanted to be? We're getting quite deep today, aren't we? Birds. You don't always hear a lot of birds, but here, particularly at the moment, I'm hearing plenty of them. Now, I could limbo under that. I'm not going to. You'll have to trust, of course, that I can. I'm very supple, very bendy, but I don't like to show off, so I'll take the easy route. A little blowy, so we've got an external mic. We got a dead cat on that. I think some of you will know what that means. It's not a literal dead cat, just something to muffle the wind. Hopefully it's not too strong today. God, we look at that. And in case you hadn't noticed, we're back on the Levada. It's under our feet. Of course, not every Levada looks like this. Every Levada that you walk on will have its own character, apart from anything else, because of just what's around it. How high it is on the island, how near to the coast, whether it's going through urban environments, farmland, whether you're up on the peaks, mountain tops. What's almost certain is each Levada that you walk will also change, like this one has. Now, if you wanted to get to Praia Formosa, you could just take a little turn left, just where we paused there. Head down, there's a little bar on the corner. If you turn left at the bottom, follow the road around. It's not too far, and then you'll see signs, or you just see roads heading down to the front. So that's one way. That's the one we did last time, getting down to Praia Formosa. Praia Formosa, as you may know, is a black sand beach. It's a lovely place. It's got 3 or 4 cafes, restaurants along the promenade. fantastic place to stop. Have a Nikita, have a Corral beer, have a sandwich, have a bolo de coco, which is Madeiran traditional bread, generally served with sort of garlic butter. Remember the first time I saw one, I thought, oh, that looks nice. I misread it as cacao, as in chocolate. So we had one brought to the table thinking, wow, two favourite things. Really good fresh bread and chocolate. Had a bit of a shock biting into it, but it was pleasant. It was garlic bread. And generally, you'll always find there's always a meal here. We have a steak. Sometimes you can have a piece of tuna in one of them for a lunchtime special. Nice inexpensive meal. If you're a vegetarian, you might be wondering, is there much veggies here? Well, there's plenty. There's a few health stores around, but even in the main supermarkets you'll find lots of alternatives. Veggie burgers. You find tofu of loads of descriptions. Got all the sorts of beans, etc. that you can buy in the stores. So you're not going to go hungry. I'm going to let you look over to the left while I'm keeping my eyes ahead. Otherwise there'll be a big splashing sound. And that'll be me. I'll be drying out my walking shoes for the next 12 hours. Getting cloudy at the minute. Unbelievably, we've had about 4 days of, quite frankly, really good weather. It's been like summer, 24 degrees each day. Today, getting a little bit of cloud. In the next few days we might get a few spots of rain. Is this normal for Madeira? I don't know. I mean, generally, if you're going to come to Madeira, I mean, how should you pack? I would assume in winter time you're probably going to see some rain. And in the evenings it can get a little chilly, especially if you want to sit out somewhere. That's probably most of us are doing in COVID times. So something warm. But also, you're going to be pleasantly surprised there's going to be a lot of days it's going to be shorts and t-shirts weather. Like today, so I think today is 22, very pleasant. Into a road like this, just have a look for a sign. There'll be a sign somewhere pointing to Levada. Of course, if you've got like an app with you, like All Trails, you may see the path. taking life in our hands on a blind corner. We're back. So if you were here, you'd be smelling wood smoke right now. Mixture of wood smoke and greenery. What does greenery smell like? It smells very much like brownery, but it's a little fresher, with a little hints of citrus. A little pause here, just in case you haven't seen a banana plant up close before. Did you know bananas aren't a fruit? Now I know what you're thinking. I'm going to make this up. Nope. Bananas are herbs, apparently. Don't ask me the specifics. We are following the trail. Sometimes when you come across banana trees, the bananas are a bit encased in a plastic bag. I think, and I'm sure someone out there can correct me, that's just to ensure that they ripen uniformly, same rate. This is what I'm guessing. Bananas give off a particular gas, don't they? So you probably know at home, if you have a bunch of bananas in a bowl together, they'll ripen very quickly. It's because of the gas that they give off. Maybe this is something you want to try this weekend. Have one banana in a bowl. 4 bananas in a bowl. See which ripens first. Who knows? Maybe a Nobel Prize. Rather large scientific grant in it for you. If you get some interesting results. He said a lot of people are coming to Madeira. It's a little bit like, it feels and looks a little like a South America. I've not been to South America, where everyone has, so I can only imagine. Across the road there, sign for the Levada. That's where we're going. So we've just continued straight down from that roundabout. See the Levada sign on the left, and it's just pointing over here. So we're on the right side. And here we're going to follow it around the valley. If you wanted to take a shortcut, you could come off around about this point. But we're going to take the valley, and then over on the other side, just over there, that's where we're going to stop, and that's where we're going to take the road down, the path down to Camara de Lobos. But for now, because it's here, because it's rather pretty, let's have a walk along here. So remember what I said about bananas? Bananas in bags. Have a look down there, you can just see a few. See the blue bags? You see them along here. Again, if anyone wants to either confirm or correct a little story about how they ripen the bananas, please do so. Some grapevines here. Of course, with Madeira wine being so famous around the world, we're going to grow grapes. See some on the house below there. And like many countries, you see how they use these curved clay tiles for roofs. It's a really nice contrast, isn't it? You've got that kind of orange clay, I suppose terracotta is the word, isn't it? You've got the white of the buildings, got all the greenery. Building up ahead has picked up on yellow. You often see buildings painted in yellow. Oops, cat. Big round things you see now and again are water reservoirs. So you see pipes crossing the paths every now and again. Most of the time they'll be carrying water. Sometimes maybe electricity. Then people will run off water from the Levada, collect it in the reservoirs, and from there they use that to water the plants. Now and again as we walk, of course, you might catch sight of my shadow. I'm sure some of you are very curious as to what the best dressed British travellers are wearing these days. Today I'm modelling Audi's men's leather jodhpurs, although I'm regretting that because it is quite warm today. I've also got on top something that's very precious to me, something that's been handed down in the family, my granddad's string vest. It's the right combination of casualness, breathability, comfort, and I like to think a hint of style. Back up the valley. Saw the little lizards on those flowers there. You haven't seen a bus stop, by the way. It's a bus stop, Pajam. But we're hardened walkers, so we're carrying on a bit further. See all the blue bags? So you can see where we've come from, right over there. Just walked past under that white house with a grey facade, grey concrete facade just underneath it. You see the railing, Levada, so that's where we've just come from. Oh, cats. Not too friendly. Probably quite wise. I've already got 3 in my backpack. I think it realises it's going to get a little bit crowded in there. Still, plan to release them at some point. Back down in town. Grapevines. flyover over there tells us we've come pretty much as far as we want to today. So we're going to break off the Levada and we're going to head down towards Camara de Lobos. If you follow this, so again, the whole thing in its entirety, it's about 16.6, something like that kilometers. Goes on quite a bit longer. Not sure about getting back. We've never gone all the way. Partly, as I said before in a previous walk, because the vertiginous sections were just a bit too much. If anyone does know if you can get a bus back from the end of Levada, that'd be great if you can just pop it in the comments. So this is where we turn off. So you have this little bridge here. We're just going to follow this road all the way down. We're going to have this cement works to our right. Going to keep all the way down. We're going to come to a little roundabout. And we're just going to continue straight over the roundabout. And that's going to take us down to the front. It's going to take us towards Camara de Lobos. And that's where we'll pick up the walk. So it only took about 15-20 minutes to get down, to come onto the front here, surrounded by a lovely bit of greenery. If you're watching some of our previous walks, you'll know there are easier ways to come here, of course. You walk along the front of the Lido. At times when the tunnel is open, you can take a tunnel which is a shortcut and it'll take you right down into Praia Formosa. Although in winter time it tends to be closed, so you just need to go up onto the main road, up past the Forum. And eventually you'll find a set of steps and a signpost leading down to the beach. And then there's a boardwalk along from the beach. It takes you past the cement works down here. That's where you can join this walk. And of course there's a number of buses. So just above the bay in here, there's a couple of stops for the Rodoeste buses. If you want to get one of the yellow town buses, just back the way we came, and past the little roundabout on the way down past the cement works. Just across the way towards the left over there, there'll be a little bus stop on the right hand side of the road, taking you back up to Funchal. This little area here tends to be Cat Alley. Oh look, kid you not. They all sit perched menacingly, waiting to pick off any lame stragglers. So keep your head tall. Oh, here comes another one. I think he's the decoy. But this is what they're protecting. Beautiful little bay. And all the fishing boats are in, which is going to be excellent because it makes for a lovely picture. Over on the left, on that arm of the harbour, is another Pestana hotel. Pestana own quite a lot of hotels on the island, as you may gather. Sun's coming out. Unfortunately, so is the wind. Hopefully our dead cat is doing its job. We've got another 3 in the backpack. This tree on the left is very famous. It's the tree that John Travolta learnt to dance underneath. Not many people know that. Just over there, huddled around some tables, you see some of the fishermen. So the fishermen tend to go out at night, so hence that's why they're sitting around here today, playing cards, shooting the breeze, talking about Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. But for us, for now, This is where we're going to leave you because we're going to have a Nikita and maybe a little something to eat. Until the next time, take care of yourselves. See you again.